15 reasons why you can be expelled from Colombia. Today we discuss. So today we are going to discuss maybe some hiccups, some frictions that might hinder you from getting accepted into Colombian soil. And I'm doing this video because many people, especially people that are, MAGA crowd Trump supporters. By the way, I'm not anti-Trump or anything like that. Just saying, but uh, actions have consequences. And something I'm seeing from the new Trump 2.0 administration is creating this particular rhetoric against all foreigners. And I understand I'm pro-legal migration, I'm anti-illegal migration. I understand the criminal migrants, the real criminal migrants, they must be prosecuted, serve their time, and then deported. You have my back 100% with that. However, what I'm seeing right now is that in the United States, they are doing a spectacle from this rhetoric, especially with this particular lady, this cosplayer secretary, that she looks like, I don't know, probably not the nicest people that I'm seeing. Okay, anyways, that's why you voted. If you're watching this and you voted for Trump, cool. And actually, by the way, I have nothing against Trump, yet again, not even against these policies. What I'm saying is there is a rhetoric right now. It's the rhetoric, not the actions. It's the rhetoric, especially on the media, on Fox News and things like that. So that rhetoric is gonna backlash, and I'm seeing cases right now. Right now, in the world, there is an anti-American sentiment on different countries. I mean, most countries don't care about the US, by the way, but there are a handful of people on each country in the whole world, by the way, that have an anti-migration sentiment. I'm not saying that's right or that's wrong. I'm saying it is what it is. And right now, with this particular issue, that this particular rhetoric, I'm complaining about the rhetoric, not the actions. With this rhetoric, these people, they are throwing, this particular rhetoric is throwing gasoline to the fire on this particular anti-American sentiment. I don't have an anti-American sentiment. I love America. I love American people, very cool people, very nice people. But this thing is going to bring consequences, and I think they are already here. Now, I'm making this video, this is just about Colombia today, but when I see all of these things compounding on the rest of the world, I'm gonna, of course, we're gonna see it here on the channel. Now, what I'm speaking today is a decree from 2020 about 15 reasons on why you cannot be admitted or you could not be admitted into Colombia. Now, if you know something about Latin America, you know that in Latin America, rules and the rule of law is something kind of a gray area, is something optional. However, if there is a political will on a particular issue, what will end up happening is that the rules are going to be black and white. We got recently this particular feud between Trump and the Colombian president Petro. Trump is a right wing, Petro is a left lean, and also that created a backlash and a consequence to the Colombian citizens that have nothing to do with that. Many people got denied their tourist visas, and also many people that are, this is just travelers, that are not migrants, anything like that, just high middle class Colombians that travel occasionally on vacation to the United States are getting mistreated on their, on the airports, on customs, and things like that. So, in this issue, remember that they are starting to complain on their home country, in Colombia, and that can create and might create a backlash not only from the authorities, but also from the people itself. For instance, in Medellin, there is a particular anti-American sentiment since, the digital nomads, the passport bros, the gentrification, yada, yada, yada. And now, any particular discretionary, any migration police officer or just an average regular police officer, when they encounter an American, this thing can create a backlash. Now, quickly, let's go with the 15 reasons on why you could not be admitted to Colombia. Number one is don't have the documents. Simple as that. But this is something that I see a lot with Americans, and I'm saying this to especially I have a handful of American clients that are not very good with bureaucracy. Americans are not good with bureaucracy. I've said this many times. I say this to my own American clients, and this is something that you have to be careful. So many Americans, I'm sorry, they are careless with their travel documentation. So that can create a backlash on your future travel if you don't take care of business. Number two is don't present a visa if, let's say, if they are not traveling for tourism, they are doing it for another reason, like studying, travel, things like that. For instance, this is something that it can happen. You're a digital nomad and you go to Medellin and you're going to remote travel, things like that. The officer at customs that many times or most of the time they just ignore you. Right now they can say, "Oh, this is an American. So what do you do, sir? Oh, you are a remote worker. You can legally not work here in Colombia. That is working. I'm sorry, sir. You have to go back to your country." That can happen. Number three is public health violations. This is mostly related to COVID. Remember, this particular decree came in 2020. So, yet again, be healthy. Number four is if you had a deportation case in the past regarding Colombia. Yet again, something that happened in the past might affect the future. Number five is symptoms of a particular disease, pandemic. Yet again, this has to do mostly with COVID. But let's say you have a cold, a flu, coming from home, you're traveling that day, and they might say, "Oh, this particular American or this particular European also." Since they are very tough on their countries, let's be tough. Yet again, this guy might have a contagious disease, something like that. Let's send them back. I'm seeing cases, by the way. Mostly through COVID, but you know what I mean. Number six, consider to be a danger or for national security, Colombian national security. Yet again, a random customer officer watching the news, watching how Colombians are treating the US, they might see something, out of the radar, out of the blue, and say, "You know what? This particular guy could be a threat to national security. The way he looks, something like that. And, you know what? Let's send them back to the US." Disrespect an officer at customs. Well, yet again, many cases, for instance, something similar happened with Brittany Grimer, I believe, the girl, the basketball player in Russia, something like that. I've seen a couple of cases, one African American lady in Dubai, she got arrested, things like that. So be polite when you are customs. Number 8 is entering the country, Colombia, wearing out the legal time that you have for being a tourist in Colombia. That is 180 days. Yet again, you have to be careful on that if you love spending quite some time in Colombia. Number 9, this is a no-go. This is a red flag. False documents. Please never have false documents. Never. Number 10 is lack of sanction payment. That, let's say you got sanctioned previously in Colombia for something and you have that particular debt to society and you don't fulfill that. Well, that could be an issue. Try not to do that in Colombia or any country in the world. Number 11 is lack of monetary resources. And I've seen this a lot from many Americans that usually, in America, many people have a lot of liabilities, financial liabilities. credit card debt, student loans, health care bills, things like that. And many times they travel just with the Visa, their MasterCard, their credit card, counting on their credit card, but they don't have something on their bank account that might bring an issue. So try to have a savings account with a couple of $1,000 and printed paperwork. Number 12 is false information at the point of entry. Yet again, big no-no. Please don't do that. Don't give false information to any government, either at home or abroad, especially abroad, because that can bite you on the rear end. Number 13, not having a return ticket. Big no-no. Many people I see this, usually unsophisticated travelers, but even the sophisticated travelers drop the ball on that regard. Always have a return ticket, at least for a third country. And number 14, exceeding the allowed period for stay. Yet again, 180 days. And number 15, sovereignty issues might be invoked in order to be withdrawn and taken out from the country. This is very key, and I hope this is not going to happen, but randomly a customs officer can say, yet again, this guy is too big, this guy is too, whatever might be the case, they don't like you. On the same day, there is a news all over Colombia that an innocent Colombian citizen living or visiting the US got raided by ICE, and the payback can be against you if you're an American traveling to Colombia on that particular week. Just saying. Now, what I want to do is give you 3 particular travel tips. If you're an American, but also if you're a European or something, just check it out. The number 1, if you're traveling to Colombia, is try to avoid Medellin. At least arriving in Medellin, let's say if you are actually going to Medellin, try to enter Colombia via Bogota or a place like that, and then travel to Medellin just in case. I mean, if you can afford it, that will be a cool suggestion. Just saying, just in case. Number 2 is bring your paperwork printed. I'm talking the reservations, the hotel, the Airbnb, also your insurance, travel insurance policy, things like that. Try to have it on an envelope, something on your carry-on, just in case you have to show it. Because, by the way, many times people from third world countries, when they travel to a first world country or even another third world country, they are solicited such information. So maybe that could be you on your next trip. And number 3, this is very important, is about your political affiliation. And right now in 2025, that goes with you, MAGA, Trump supporter fan. I'm not saying that's bad or something like that, but try not to travel with your MAGA hat. Try not to travel with your t-shirt of Trump bans 2024. Try, keep it cool on social media and things like that, because that might hurt you, especially traveling not only to a place like Colombia, to basically many countries. You can get, let's say, some rough treatment, especially if on those days the news is that Trump or right now the US administration right now, they are mistreating internationals, because I'm seeing a lot of cases right now, the US mistreating internationals beyond managing illegal immigration, that I completely 100% agree and I support. But there are ways that the legal immigrants are getting mistreated. Also, travelers and tourists in the US, I'm hearing some cases now and there, and that can compound and bite you on the rear end if you're an American, especially if you are a Trump supporter. That I'm not saying is a bad thing, just saying, keep it to yourself. Just leave your MAGA hat in Wichita and travel, with a political affiliation. By the way, and if you are a hardcore Democrat supporter, let's keep, your Yes Weekend t-shirt or something like that. Just keep it to yourself. Or if you are woke or something like that, you yet again, try not to show it that much, because that can also bring you an issue, depending on the country and depending on the atmosphere that you are going to be on your travel. Lastly, I want to give a shout out to Colombian Guide. Is a channel that I got this particular information, and so shout out to you. I think they have some interesting resources if you are visiting Colombia. Thank you for watching Continental Insider. Please like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on social media, and if you want to work with us, continentalinsider.com. Thanks again, and have a nice day.